Why, hello, my fellow Voice of the Rings members, and welcome back to another Lord of the Rings excursion playlist. We're going to play a little more of the RiseToWar game, show you a little bit what's going on in this game. It's kind of fun. We are doing battle right now. So again, this game is not lore quite... Everyone's in the right places, but as in it's a risk board game, right? Kind of thing. Lord of the Rings game, so it's very risk style, as in, for example, we as Gondor just took Edoras. We took the capital of Rohan yesterday, which was fun. Again, people are what matter, right? So everyone's not really playing like lore, like, you know, role-playing correctly, I should say, right? They're not being like, oh, you know, we're Rohan, so we're going to ally with Gondor. No, they were doing the bidding of another faction that had it very easy, let's put it that way. But we destroyed them, and now we were battling with the elves, which also doesn't make sense with lore. Again, it's a risk board game, right? It doesn't matter. In fact, one of the most honorable people in the game for us has been Mordor. Again, does not make much sense as in a lore perspective, but there we go. We're about to get in the game. If you're wondering how I'm playing this on my computer right now. I normally play on my phone, but I want to be able to record with you guys. This is on BlueStacks. I'm using the program. It's not quite as smooth as other things, but it's still, you guys can see it pretty good there. So, alright, we're in the game. Here's my capital. I am max level. And now I've already done a little how-to video on this same playlist of all about the game for you guys, right? So I'm just going to talk about some fun things for a little bit and hang out with you guys. Because I was going to play and I was like, you know what? I'll make a video and show you guys the game. If you want to play with me, guys, and you don't want to watch the whole video, I understand. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys, and check out my other content that's actually I do on this channel with Voice of the Rings, guides, voiceovers, lore, playlists, all sorts of manner of fun things. But don't forget to like and subscribe, and there's some stuff down there in the links, too, if you Facebook and all those good things, whatever you want to do. If you want to join our Discord, you can be a Patreon for the low and join the Voice of the Rings Discord, whatever you want to do. But again, let's play the game a little bit here. So, but again, my main point. We're on server 55, Gondor faction. So if you want to play together, you have to be on the right server, right? If you want to come play with us, play with me and a couple of my friends and stuff. So server 55 and the Gondor faction. You have to choose the right faction. Again, I just found this out for you people out there who might be curious. In the next season, which the season's getting close to being done, so I'm going to open this so you guys can see. So we're basically doing this. Again, the elves got to the ring very quickly because on our particular server there was almost no resistance. So they surrounded it like the first week, and then when it was opened up to be able to take, they took it. We can take it back before the end. We have to battle them for it. But right now they're attacking all lands, which we'll see how that's going in a second. And then, of course, the One Ring, we have to control 3 faction capitals. We have our own Minas Tirith. We took Edoras, so we can still get that, right, for another reward, right? Here's how ranking works and stuff. Look at that. My personal ring level, I'm 48 on the server. There are hundreds and hundreds of people on the server, if not thousands. So, yes, I'm the 48th most powerful person with ring power, which... you understand what that is. It's basically this resource you get for owning certain amounts of land. But and no matter how, depending on how much you own, your ring will level up to a certain speed, right? All right, you get the point, right? It's a level up system. And then personal production, I'm 28th on the server, which also has to do with what land you have, your actual land. As a faction, you can get points as a faction to earn over time. Where like it'll be you take a certain place and everyone in your faction gets a certain amount of extra production for that. But for me personally, my own land, I'm at 31,300, which you can't see, so I'll just show you right there, right here. See. But yes, so yeah, 28th. So that's kind of fun. A little bragging in there, you know, just for fun, right? All right, and then Fellowship Production, we're tied with the top other faction. We were first for a long time. The Elves got another big region, so they're just barely beating us in there. It's just a couple thousand here and there. We kind of keep going back and forth. So, but anyway, so let's see how the world is doing. Again, here's my ring power per hour, 70,000. If I click that, a little bit more info for you guys. My personal production, which I already showed you. Fellowship production depends on if you have these mysterious springs and a couple other things. And then faction production, which is significant structures like a keep or a fortress, which is like Minas Tirith is like the main capital. It's a capital, and then keeps are these things around the map that are kind of like that, but they're not quite as significant, right? All right, let's see how we're doing. So we have some battles here. They took some little lands. It looks like it's like this big. I had no one defending that land, so it's okay. All right, let's go over and see how we're doing up here. All right, well, good news is they have not taken this place. The elves have been battling. So here's the main battlefield, this morning at least. Let's see how it's doing. Okay, so the elves are definitely preparing for a full attack, as you can see. They are battling us quite heavily right now. We are trying our best to defend it. We have tons of armies in here. As you can see, I have Balin and Dwalin. I believe Gimli probably got attacked, so he is probably... Where's Gimli? There's Gimli. Can I reinforce Gimli with some troops? Oh, he is all the way back at my base. Wow. All right. Well, then. So this is where you'd reinforce Gimli with troops. Let me see if I can give him some more men. Oh, look at that. I can totally max him out. Sweet. We are going to go back up on the map here. I'm going to go back to this keep, which is what we're trying to defend from the elves. And I'm going to move Gimli to that location. Oh, wow. Do I not have any fort? Oh, they destroyed our fort there, too. Do I have any forts nearby that they didn't destroy? Zoom in a little here. You can see my forts are the green circles that I built. So I do have one right here, it says. So I'm going to go ahead and move Gimli to that location, so then he will be able to get there in 25 minutes. Again, this is an overtime game more, right? Alright, so I am not going to go look at world chat because we're doing a stream and what's going on with chats here, but I looked at it for a second, but that was all in Russian anyway. One thing very cool about this game, people are playing from all over the world, but you can translate things instantly with Translator. So, for example, see how this is in a different language. I'm sure if you're watching from wherever that language, I believe it's Russian, I think. You tell me in the comments if you know that language. But you can just click and it will translate it. Okay, well, that was an insult, but world chat's not always a great place to be in this game, apparently. But as you can see, there's great battling happening. This guy was one of people in my fellowship. Again, I am in one of the biggest fellowships on the server. Was the biggest for most of the time, pretty much still is, in Gondor, but, yes, it's very exciting. Anyway, I'm going to move him up there. I'm going to do a little more work here instead of just blabbing. You guys can kind of just watch me as I do stuff. I'll try to talk it while I do things. Okay, for one, I have a lot of heroes, which are, Balin and Gimli. Gimli's going that way. Balin is defending where, okay. Dwalin is here. Can I refill Dwalin's men and send him that way too? Do I have enough people for that? I do. Sweet. Alright. So, I think we'll... do I need to keep him with Goat Riders? Do I have a lot of... I have a lot of Guardians. You know, we're going to remove those Goat Riders and we're going to give him Guardians. You can have a max of 3 types of units in every army. You don't have to do that, though. You could have only 1. I could just send all Guardians with Dwalin and get rid of these axe throwers and these guys. But with Dwalin, he has abilities that help a whole army. For example, Balin, his brother, right, who's another dwarf leader, as you can see, even though I'm Gondor, I roleplay as... I'm the dwarves of the White Mountains. Obviously, I'm Zollin Ironshield, right? The only reason I'm playing the Gondor faction is because a lot of my friends were there, in both from another Discord I play, and a couple of my family wanted to play on this one, family friends and stuff, too. Alright, anyway, so Dwalin, he has special... Let's look at commanders real quick so you can see this, alright? So Dwalin, if you look, these are all... If you're brand new to the game, you're going to be completely confused. If you're play the game, but you'd like to know a little bit more, we'll talk about it a little right now. So, you'll be able to follow along, though. Alright, so anyway, as you can see, if I click on this, it'll give a certain thing, right? Army, speed, and defense, 15% more. Great, right? If you have max levels of it, which I'm 15 of 15, right? You get points for every level for your character. And a little for respect levels. It's a little bit different thing, but it's okay. You get +3 attack to your army. Sweet, right? So he's got all that. And then this, right? Relief. All units with the highest defense recover a certain amount of health. Okay? So, allied units. This one, allied units remove 1 random debuff and recover 120% max health. So it helps during combat. So in combat phase, when you're fighting in this game, there are like 10 rounds, right? So that's why occasionally it'll be saying that, and this skill works on round 2. See up there? Okay? Right, round 2. Up here we have Expert Warrior. The Commander does 60% more damage. The Commanders are all hero characters mostly, and they're very powerful. They add a lot to the force, right? One commander can do the same damage as a group of like 30,000 units, right? So they're obviously very powerful, and they buff your team. So they're a really important, essential part of this thing, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and march Zollin on the way over. I mean, get him going so he can be a little closer, along with Gimli. So I'm going to move Zollin from my capital to this spot here. And I want to get them there because I want to move them to the keep to help defend. Because no doubt the elves will attack in the next hour or so. They're probably preparing. As you can see, they're right now. What they're trying to do right now is kill all our forts around the keep. So, again, we've been defending them all day, and our forces are rather wounded because we have taken one of their biggest underling pawns. And again, to all you Rohirrim lovers, I love Rohirrim. I'm a big fan of the Rohirrim. The players on the Rohirrim team in this particular server, some of them are honorable. I cannot say all of them. But we had a couple of them who were very just, let's say they had colorful language. We'll just put it that way. Colorful language, and they betrayed us, right? And then not only that, the elves then blamed and said Gondor were the people who betrayed people, which we betrayed no one. And which is very interesting because Mordor has actually been one of our most honorable people, as in we'd make treaties with them and stuff, and they actually kept it. So kudos to them. But when that happened, we had to take another capital for that thing anyway, and since they turned on us anyway, we went full steam for their capital. So we took Edoras. And again, remember, we have Rohirrim units too on our team. If you focus on using Rohirrim heroes and Rohirrim things, you can still have it. So these are a bunch of our forts. Mine's the green one down here on right there. But as you can see, we attacked and we took Edoras. So it's kind of cool. But they had their forts all around this. It was a big battle for like a whole full day. And then it took us a few hours to beat them, right? But it took like 2 days of us taking their forts around it, which is what the elves trying to do. But again, we're weakened because it takes a while to regen, heal your units, right? Which you could see right here, right above me, right here, current treatment. It actually has another 4 hours right there, right here, right there. I'm floating around. Ooh. So anyway, that's what this is for. But so I'm healing units right now because basically I wasn't here for the Edoras fight because they did it. A lot of people are in different time zones in our server. But they tell us a usual time, right? There's a little time thing up here at the top, in the top corner up there. So I usually use that. But basically I wasn't here. So I had a lot of extra units. So I did a ton of battling today fighting at this location up here when we fly back up to this area. This is between, again, you can see where we are on the map, right? We're in I think it's Mule, right? Mule? I'm not quite sure I'm saying that correctly, but it's this region right between southern Mirkwood and Dol Guldur and Mordor. But so we're trying to keep the keep. So they're trying to take the keep. If you take the keep, you get the little area lit up, right? This range. So that's what we're fighting for right now. We are battling for it. In fact, you leave a comment if you guys think this is a cool idea, but me and my one friend were thinking we might do like a little fun podcast kind of thing, which we might link to my channel here if you guys want to know more about the game. We want to talk about like armies and setups and that kind of fun jazz and stuff. So we've really been enjoying this game. It's actually that is Jethros, right? You all probably saw him in my other video if you watched our other excursion. But as you can see, a lot of people are battling and fighting back for territory. And look, there's someone taking that, fighting them. Let's see if they get it. A few seconds. Elves are trying to reinforcement. We did get it. Now another elf is attacking them. So we'll see if they can survive that. But again, I originally was battling up here this afternoon. And as you can see, I still have some regions right here that that I actually don't really care to have, so I might just abandon them because I only can have a certain amount of regions. If you look, I'm gonna float up here real quick. See this little spot right here? 210 out of 216. That actually is how many spots I can have in the game, like actual squares on the ground. You know, like a. But I'm gonna abandon these three because there's really no point for me to have them at this point because they're already all the way past. So again, if you don't own a place, you can't just randomly go find a square in the middle here and just take it. It won't let me. See how it says no linked land, right? So I have to be near an ally, either it be a purple on my faction, a blue part of my fellowship, or my own green one. Then I can march there and try to take that tile with an army. Yep. That's a simpler thing. If you played the game, you probably already know that. Or a game similar to this game. There are some other games that have been out for a while that are very similar to this game. This is the best one I've ever played, and it does not feel pay to win. The only things you can do to increase how fast is two things. If you're doing pay to win, you want to buff yourself up fast. The only thing you can do that I noticed is you can speed up some of your you can't speed up how fast you recruit armies, which is good because that would be pay to win. You can speed up with healing things if your guys are wounded, or how fast you build buildings. But there's a limit to how many buildings you can have in the game, like upgrades. You can't just infinitely upgrade your base. There's only a level 10 cap, pretty much, which I would have got there anyway. I didn't really use many speed ups. You earn speed ups for free, too, and you can trade them in the market as well. Then, another thing that I found, and by the way, you know what's funny? Why is there no sound? Like, do I have sound off? Let me look. Music's on. Huh. There's like no music. There's no sound. It's kind of weird. Wait. Oh. Music. It's here. Maybe me just doing that fixed it. Yeah. Oh no, I lost train of thought. I'm sorry. Oh! You guys ever do that? Just like do something like, oh no. I think it's the hardest thing when I'm trying to like verbalize stuff, especially in a game that I'm learning. It's like, wait. What was I saying? But let's see how. Okay, so I've got these guys defending. These guys are on their way over. They're marching through the dead marshes right now. And see, we took the Argonath, which is pretty cool. That's ours. Here's one of my forts. I named it Argonath, so when I look at my lands, I can see where my forts are, and I can see where they actually are located, instead of just like fort number 10, number 11, that kind of thing. When I go, North Brownlands, right? I can go to my fort in the North Brownlands if I click it, right? Which is near, so if I click M, or not M, if I click the map up here. We're not playing Lord of the Rings or other games. So yeah, it's North Brownlands, that area. But they're attacking through the middle. And again, another thing that's really was kind of crazy about the elves is they really had no one contesting them. So let me just describe what's happened in the last couple weeks, okay? So let's go to the top here. So now you can see everything. We don't need to see this corner really, where I am. But up here, so if you follow my mouse, if you see my mouse, Agmar was an AI. There weren't any real players. So this top area with this keep, if you notice, there's different symbols. There's dots, which are little keeps. There are ones that are castles, like keeps that are bigger, that are these ones that are like more special, but they have a different look. They look cool, right? The circles are all generic. They look identical, right? Certain areas. These are like have special looks. So like, for example, if I click it, this is actually Delamroth, and it actually looks cool when we zoom in, right? So, or like this one up here that's not taken by anyone yet, it's the Grey Havens. Or this one, it's the Shire, right? But the elves had no one to contest them, because on other servers there's two other factions. There's an Arthedain/Arnor faction that starts in the middle here, and there's one on the far left here that's a high elf, or not high elf, but the elves of the Havens, right? With like Círdan, or their leader in this, again, it's not lore, it's just random leaders, Gilgalad, right? The High King when he was alive, right? Because this game has nothing to do with all heroes are here, right? At all times, right? It's a Risk board game. So anyway, basically what they did was the elves just killed these guys. The dwarves have kind of had like a stalemate with them. They haven't really fought them either way. And the dwarves were able to just knock out this was Rune, the Easterlings. They were an AI too. So hopefully in the next season that both Agmar and Rune will be real players, because that'll really help the balance of the game. But the elves started here. They start here, right next to the ring, right? They literally start next door to the ring. So they surrounded it with forts immediately. But we were all at our capital starting points, right? Like slowly taking things. They immediately surrounded it. And then they basically just poisoned the ears and binds of Rohan and Isengard, which kind of were weird. They were fighting each other, but like they kind of weirdly like joined the elves. All right, they wouldn't admit that. And if they watch this, I know that some of you guys are awesome on Isengard and Rohan. I just want to point that out, and on the elves. Okay, I don't want to be biased. There are good players in every faction, right? But the generic, what was being shouted in the world chat and what their main forces did on those teams, that's kind of what happened. But again, the elves were trying to say that we betrayed people, and we didn't. We didn't betray anyone. Rohan turned on. We needed to get to the ring, so we were trying to make a deal with Rohan to let them keep all their lands, that we could go this way, because they ran across real quick and took all these spots that we have now. So they cut us off from getting to the ring, and we're like, we got to get to the ring. We need one of these spots to get to the ring, right before the ring was open to take, even though the elves have it right now. But they were like, no. And then we did a treaty with them. They're like, oh, okay. So we started taking this one. And then they turned on us and started fighting us. So we're like, okay. So then we fought them, which was great for the elves because they could just build up more forces, right? Again, it's a risk game, right? And then they built up more forces, and then Isengard attacked us from this side. So then we had to defend against Isengard, right? So we're fighting Isengard over here. We're fighting Rohan in the middle. The elves are pushing in, so we had to take this area. And now we just took Edoras, all our forces with all our energy, and now the elves declared war and are attacking this way, right? And they're already they already have this huge fort around the one ring. So if we go to the one ring, let's just see it real quick. As you can see, here's the one ring, and this is the elven ridiculous armada of forts around the one ring, right? And they had these forts like week 1 of this game. It's been out for a few weeks, like around it already. It was already surrounded. So I understand the elves are still fighting people, but whatever they say, they had it a lot easier with, like, we had to battle through these two people who basically were protecting the elves. If what could have happened, which would have been a better, like, this would have been better for Rohan to do, and Isengard, was to treaty with us and fight the elves to try to get the ring, and then later we break all that and everyone starts fighting, right? So they could, like, kind of keep their land and then try to get the ring too. But instead, what they did was the elves were saying that we were these bad guys, even though I think we were one of the most honorable. The dwarves and Mordor have been rather honorable in this game. But again, it's not always... It makes sense with the dwarves, of course. But and with lore-wise, you'd think Mordor would be attacking us constantly, but they weren't. But Mordor and the dwarves have been fighting, right? They've been trying... Mordor actually took all 3 of these places. The dwarves did have all the way down to their border here, but so they've been battling too. So it's kind of like a north-south battle right now. We're kind of just stalemated with. We're not really allies with Mordor, but we don't. They can only get through a few spots. This spot right here, and let me zoom in a little bit. Right here, and down here. That's really the only places they can pass. There's crossings in this game and openings between mountains, so there's a certain limit to how far you can go. You can do a forced march to a certain spot and you're in your territory, in your blue territory, right? But again, you have to travel across otherwise. That's the reason why I can't just like send a random force up here somewhere in the middle of nowhere and take this land. And that's the reason why there's no one up here. It's just, again, this would be 2 other factions. So I hope, and I remembered what I forgot. I hope that they add Agmar and Rune as real players. And I hope that they add those other 2 factions. And I think it would balance the game a lot more because the elves would have a lot more to have to... They wouldn't be immediately surround the ring and then just go destroy an AI behind him and then literally put everything on one front. Now again, they would have had a harder time if Isengard or Rohan gave them any trouble. But instead, Rohan and Isengard kind of just focused on us and attacked us over and over, which forced us to attack them back, which gave all the elves free time to do whatever they wanted to. Right? But I mean, that's half the fun of the game, right? Negotiating and like all that kind of stuff, right? So, open my fellowship here, help some people build stuff. War declarations. This is kind of interesting, right? So we're at peace right now. After 6 hours, this little timer right here, right there, we can do another war declaration. It basically allows you to be able to get a huge increase, or it allows you to be able to actually attack people's like forts when you're at peace, you have a 70% reduction to damage on structures. And basically how that works is to get rid of someone's fort or base or take a keep, you have to damage its health, right? So let me show you real quick. So if I go to my building right here, if you see this, how I have a certain amount of health right there. If I had armies, first they'd have to defeat my armies that were in my base, right? Wipe them all out, make my heroes die and all that stuff. Then they'd have to hit me a ton of times to do the damage to actually break my building, and then I would be moved or something. I'm not quite sure how that works. I've never seen a thing. But similar thing happening with the keep, right? So the elves have to first defeat all the armies that are inside. We have 32 armies in our fellowship here, and 10 from our faction, other people that are in our faction that are on our side in it, right? So they're going to defeat 42 armies that are inside this keep, and I'll just scroll down so you can see how many people are here, right? They got to defeat all these people, right? There's a different, see, that's different fellowship or guild. So this is mine. This is other people, right? Vala is another big one in our area. So there it is. Also, I still play with people from Nerd of the Rings who play on this server as well, which is kind of fun. So come on, Voice of the Rings members, come join us. Come play with us. Definitely cool. Now, granted, I will warn you ahead. I believe our fellowship is full. You can have 100 once it's a big fellowship. Yeah, see, we got one spot, but you can still play together. You just add each other on the friends thing. So if you go to individuals, you can go here to this 3 dots down here in the bottom, and then you can add a person. You can send me a request or whatever, and then I will accept the request, and we can play together and still coordinate things as long as you're on the Gondor faction for this season. And I would tell you if I switch, I'm not planning on switching. I think switching is kind of weird, but apparently Jethro's told me that from what we were not 100% sure, but we think he heard that you can actually switch to the bad side of the next season and get those heroes and use your good heroes. So you can still have Gandalf and stuff and be playing Mordor, which is really interesting. It doesn't really make sense lore-wise, but as the one thing you keep when the season resets, the one thing you're going to keep is your commander's respect. So their level will drop back down to 1, but this thing won't, okay? So this is a respect thing. So see how I'm level 5 on him there, and every respect increase, and you get these items you give to him, allows you to open new stuff on the tree up to the 5. So if I open this tree, since I'm level 5, I can use this stuff over here, right? Let me get this out of the way. I can use this, right? And this, and this. I just have to put points into this, but I put most of my points into this one and this one. Okay? All right? Using my face as I'm moving around pointer. But so you guys get that, right? So that's the one thing you keep, as well as your items. And by the way, that is the one thing you can increase if you spend a lot of real money. You can buy Matham coins with the gems to get more of these spins. Oh, look at this! I have 5 ones. I can open one up for you. Again, if you do this, I think it's better to just use the 5 if you have it. You'll earn these coins too. These little coins, so you'll get occasionally, and you'll get a free one a day. At least 5 p.m. Pacific, my time, it opens up a free one each day. And the tip stuff, I think I already told you, but you get a free one, right? I could spend that, but I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to use the Glory Day one because it's a limited time one. I'm going to open 5 and see what we get. No yellows. But I did get some cool things. So these are just items. I got nothing super cool, but I get a bonus too because I said, here, draw 10 more times to get whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of tempted to get some more just to do it with, like, open another one and see if I get anything cool on stream with you guys. That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Be kind of fun. It sure would. It sure would. So if you wanted to, you go to the store, gamble, buy money. Now, again, I feel like things are slightly overpriced in this game. Just a little bit. I feel like it's just like, I'd bump it all up a little bit. So, for example, 1,000 gems is $5, right? And if I wanted to do 5 more of those Matham coins, I believe it is, let me see how much it is. Let's go back over to the Matham thing. Rather, the Matham thing's right down here. If you're confused what I'm clicking on, sorry. It's this one right here. Just make sure you guys know what I'm clicking on. Let's say I just wanted to open another 5 right now, right? I have no coins, right? So you have insufficient gems. I don't remember how much it is, how many gems it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a couple gems right now. The question is how many? Now here's the thing that's cool. The first time you buy stuff, obviously I haven't spent $50, right? I spent a $20 one once, though, right? I don't have infinite money. I'm not rich. Despite my dwarf in Lord of the Rings Online. I wish I could turn that into real money, but you know. And by the way, the money you guys give me on Patreon, I've been saving up for new microphone and new stuff like that. So I'm not spending it on video games. Not all of it. Okay, that was a joke. Half joke. All right, you get my point. But again, I don't have infinite money. So I am going to. By the way, I did get these. These are probably pretty cool and worth it. They were only like $10 to get this, and you basically get a month, and you get 150 a day every time you get on, right? And you get a coin each day, right? I thought that was kind of cool. Now that I think that's more reasonable. It was a reasonable amount, right? This is also really worth it. I got this. It was like $5, and you get an extra building slot, and you just get some coins. But again, the gems, you'll get an extra double the first time you get it. So I got 4,600 times 2 when I bought the $20 one. So that's why it's kind of like, I feel like that was more reasonable, right? Because again, I think it's like to get a full 5, it's like 2,000 gems or something, or maybe more. That's kind of a lot of money, you know? Like, I don't know. It just seems kind of a lot. This is 1,000 gems. It's kind of cool. $5. Whoop. Whoop. Again, that's how they're supporting their game, right? Just like any other game. Lord of the Rings Online has that too. League of Legends, those kind of games have that, right? And the thing is, if it's a game I really love, I kind of like to support it. You know what I mean? And buy a little bit of stuff. It's so funny. I had a friend who got a lot and then didn't really play this game, and I was like, maybe he'll be back because he has a lot of gems in his inventory now. All right. Wow, this is quite a battlefield, though. Look at those elves just stacking up, ready for battle. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well, I got like 29 armies right there. Yikes, they're getting close to being the same amount there. I'm going to do a little message out to our faction real quick. Guys, we need more defenders. Send them. All right, there we go. Put that out there real quick, and I linked what keep we're talking about. All right, so, and I will be sending, now that we've been talking, remember I sent these guys to that fort? Because again, they can only move the distance of the circle on the map, right? So let me open this and zoom in. So see, I sent them here. They can move anywhere within this circle. If I want them to move farther into one of these other circles, I have to first transfer them to a different keep. Does that make sense? And my capital is there. See, it looks slightly different than like it's a tiny bit bigger than these ones, right? So again, they can only move here unless they move to one of my little forts. Forts, not keeps. Keeps are the main bases. Do you guys want to see Dol Amroth? I showed you guys and then didn't show you. Let's look at Dol Amroth. It's pretty cool. So here is... Whoa. Oh, it's frozen Dol Amroth. Look at those beautiful clouds. Frozen. There it is. There's Dol Amroth. Pretty epic, huh? I think it's pretty epic. Looks good. I think their design of the game looks really nice. Now again, I'm recording this for you guys in 2K, right? On my big screen, 14, you know, size, but 32 inch actually, curved monitor. So it doesn't look super crystal, I'm sure. It looks okay, right? But it's not super crystal just because it's technically a phone game. So I don't think they necessarily made the graphics designed for a massive 32-inch screen at 2K, but still looks pretty darn good, all things considered, I think. All right, so let's go over there. They finally made it. So now that they're in this keep, I'm going to send them to the keep. All right, I'm going to move people to this keep, and I'm going to move Gimli to it. And I'm going to move Dwalin to it. So now those elves attack. We're going to have a lot of defenders. And I see more people are sending in to defend. It looks like they are having to kill someone. Someone is defending this valiantly with his armies. This man, Soul Eater 33, is defending valiantly his keep as these guys are attacking it like crazy. We'll see how long if he can defend his thing. I think it'd probably be better to send his troops in here in battle, but I mean, no matter what, it's weakening the elf armies as well, and he's trying to defend his base there. So that makes sense. All right. So what else am I gonna do right now? Again, this is a game that you kind of like have a lot of waiting involved, right? So this is kind of a game you do some stuff and then you go do something else, right? But I just wanted to kind of show you guys. I saw I can have one queue opening for building. So I'm going to build something. So as you can see, my main hall's level 10, everything's level 10. This will all reset after the season. I'll have to rebuild these. The things that will not reset is my items on my commanders and the respect for each commander. So what I'm trying to do really hard right now is I'm trying to earn... I'm going to click on the button in this corner right here, the horse button, which is the tavern. Open this real quick. I love the music in here. There it is. I really like it. So this table right here, this recruiting table, I'm going to click that. And basically, so this map is who you recruit, right? So these are level 1 heroes. And again, these respect levels don't go away after the season. This is what really matters, right? Level 2, so you can see what heroes I own, right? I have Legolas and Gimli, Balin, Gandalf the Grey, Aragorn, right? Or Aragorn, however you like to say it. I say it both ways because Tolkien said Aragorn in his interviews, so I know I say that all the time because some people get really biffed about that, but really it's funny because they both sound really cool, right? I think it's just the way people say it, right? It's a name. Yeah. So anyway, it's kind of cool, right? You kind of look around on it, the table. But I'm sure they'll add more heroes in the future, too, that you can earn. But I do not have Awen yet. I'm getting close. I might be able to get Awen right now. I don't know if I want to put my points into this, though, for that. She's really good. She's a really good commander, but let's see. What points can I give him? So I have these sealed letters, right? So I'm debating on if I want to get Theoden, those letters, but they also work for Éomer, right? Arwen's also really good. Jethro's got Arwen. This is like best leader. She's really awesome. She's got some. Her sustain, her healing is amazing. Here's Frodo and Bilbo. I don't have them yet. I'm not sure. Let's look what they give. Master of Bag Ends. Bag End. Put an S on it. Base stats required. Oh, okay. So equipment's more powerful on them. The bonuses they get. Hobbit units defense plus 20. Oh, that's cool. So if you use hobbits, they make hobbits very powerful, right? Hobbits are a hired unit. You have to be in the Shire and you have to own one of the tiles that let you get hobbits. For example, I have Oathbreakers, which are the undead, right, from the movie. And I own one of the tiles, one of the Dunharrow tiles, to be able to hire them in my faction. What is this? Starlight. Enemy orcs, Urukai, and trolls damage received plus 2%. Oh, that's pretty cool. First 2 rounds. Remember, there's 10 rounds in a battle. And then if the battle doesn't finish, if both armies aren't lost, there's a 5-minute wait time between it, and then they fight again. That's how that works, until both armies are depleted or one wins or one doesn't. All allied units, 1.7% chance of avoiding damage, and this goes up. This is level 1 of it. If you upgrade, I'm sure it goes up. So this is each level. Time needed to do tips. Oh, sweet. So, Harfoots. Haha! Focus. Pipeweed. Inquisitive. Gained. So these are things good for doing if you're doing tips with them a lot, right? Again, what are tips? Well, I don't have any right now, but I will in a couple hours. They show up above these characters when you click them. They allow you to do these tips, which I don't have any right now, but basically they let you how you get equipment, how you get respect for your heroes. Occasionally you can get an item that you could use your gems to buy, that kind of thing, right? So that's what tips do. They're the respect. These are the important things you have to do every day with your commanders because they're the things that will last after the season too. Because at the beginning of the season you have to retake your tiles, re-level your base, all that kind of stuff each season. It's kind of what balances the game. We have to form fellowships and stuff, but you keep your friends list, you keep your respect of your heroes and their level of their respect, not their actual level of the character, right? Again, like I was talking about, if I go to commanders, So yeah, at this level you don't keep, it'll go back to 1. So you have to redo mock battles, which isn't it, or fighting things to get XP. But this one you keep. So that's what's important to get up. I want to get one of these guys to level 5, either Gimli or Ballin, so they can open their tree, the end of their tree, right? Like we're talking about. I can't use this end part of the tree until I do that. Ballin is amazing. He's really cool. So for example, if you have an army, let's say 2, right? Dwarves, 1 allied unit, 30% chance of recovering 150 XP after dealing physical damage. So as you can see, again, if you have a dwarf unit, this character might be good to only have 1 group of people, because it's, again, it's 1 allied unit. So normally it'd be random, but in this case, you had only 1 group of units. So if you only used 1 instead of having all 3, you know, if you have archers and melee and all this other stuff, if you only have 1 group, that's a big group of guys, and they're the ones that are going to get it, right? Same thing, dwarf damage, how much they receive and dealt, really cool, right? Against 1 enemy, you deal a certain amount of damage. And then over here, revitalize round 1. So right, again, against 1 enemy, deal 200 physical damage. 1 ally recovers 100% morale, which is pretty cool. 2 ally targets recover HP instead when you have this max leveled. So it's good if he maybe has 2 groups too as well, right? Instead of 1 group of people. The first 4 rounds against 2 enemy targets, there's a 42% it can go up if I level it up 1 more, or a 50% chance of being stunned each round. So that's super cool. So if the enemy army only has 2 groups, right? They're only using 2 groups like I showed you instead of 3 groups you can have in it, right? There's a 50% chance on both of them separately that I can have them both stunned in a round, right? Which is really strong. So Ballin's a really good leader in that way. For the first 3 rounds, all allied units damage dealt increases. Pretty cool. So he does a lot more at the beginning of the round. So you have certain units that do more damage at the beginning of the round. That's good. So for example, if I go to my capital, just real quick, what happened to music again? Why does it keep going away? It's really annoying. That's okay. Whatever. If I go to my army, oh, there it is. It's back. Let's see. I want to show you. Oh, barracks. Go to the barracks. That's it. We're gonna open the barracks real quick. So let's look at my dwarf guardians right here. See these guys over here? I'm gonna click them. I don't know why it's being all weirdly laggy, but so as you can see, they are okay. I clicked the wrong one. I want to click these guys. So down here you can see some stats. I'm kind of in the way right here. So we've got stats on, you know, how much damage they deal, how much HP the units have, how much defense they have. 101, it's really strong. Their speed, their siege capability of how much damage they do to a building, right? When you're taking it, all that kind of stuff, and how much they cost to conscript. And units per command, 100. They're melee type, all that kind of stuff. There's some info about them right here, which is kind of cool, right? Let's look at that. The last line of defense for the Lonely Mountain. Guardians have endured a life of intense training to ensure the safety of their fellows. Anyway, I think it's kind of cool that they're called Guardians because I play a Guardian Lord of the Rings Online. So, I don't know, I just was very happy when I saw that the main unit, one of the highest units for dwarf units is a Guardian. Thought that was cool. Then you got these things down here. So like here's the abilities I want to show you though, right? This is what you can match up with commanders. The second, so this is about the dwarves, right? The race to populate Middle Earth. Dwarves are proud, fierce. Okay, that's not what we need. This one, right? Shielding. Sell 50% chance to reduce physical damage by 16%, right? And you keep upgrading depending on how many points you put into it down here, right? I can do up to 10 times, right? I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade them again. Boom. Okay. So I used a bunch of my gold. Gold is an earned resource over time. It's not one of the paid ones. The only one that's a paid resource, but you can still earn in game occasionally, are the gemstones. Lacerate. So these have a special effect, right? And here's what I wanted to show you, right? Against the target, enemy target inflicts bleeding, causing the target to suffer 16% physical damage continuously for 1 round, right? Against enemy target. Okay, and then you can buff it out, right? So that's pretty cool, right? So again, if you have something that buffs bleeding or something, a hero, these guys would work really good with them, right? That kind of thing. All right, for another example, let's look at the Dwarven Axemen that I use, right? They do a really good increased damage against large monsters. Trolls, Mummakill, those kind of things, right? Maybe eagles if you're fighting eagles, right? Again, you're like, what? You know, why would you be fighting eagles if you're the good guys? Well, it's because, like, the elves are attacking us, right? They have eagles, so that kind of thing. It's a risk game, guys. It's not lore friendly, I know. Battler's Bane, right? So 10% increased damage. So that's kind of cool. I'm actually going to increase how much damage they do to that. Go ahead and pump them up there. And then let's, for example, here's my Oathbreakers. Now these are a hired unit. As you can see, to conscript them, they cost money. They're hard to conscript. It says down here. They're really, they're amazing. So here's their abilities. You can't upgrade them. They're automatic when you hire them. But it's crazy. They avoid physical damage, cannot be healed. So they will die from taking focus damage, which is the type of damage from heroes and certain other things. But they can't take physical damage, which is crazy, right? And then attacks inflict focus damage. So they do focus damage too, but receive a minor focus damage in return. So they hurt themselves, kind of thing. That's their weakness. All defeated units wounded until die after battle. So they can't be wounded. Like some units, normally when you battle, some units will die, some will be wounded. A majority will be wounded usually if you don't get overwhelmingly attacked. They cannot. They will just die. You have to hire more, right? So I think that's what makes them not super stupidly strong, you know? Again, these Eagles and Bjornings, I have a couple because you're given some. Recommendation, don't use them to fight when you get these if you play the game in the next season, because they'll probably give them to us again in the next season. The Eagle is good to just, if you can't get Eagles and you're in an area you can't, like we are in Gondor, because there's none around, I think that's something they could do good to balance the game. They can make it where everyone can kind of get everything everywhere on the planet, even though it wouldn't make sense that Eagles would be down in Gondor, right? But I feel like it would be a good balancing. Or at least, you know, like, for example, too, like if Isengard wanted to get Mumakil, maybe they should be able to get some around Isengard too. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? But but you have to have a place to get Eagles to hire more. So I only have 5, but they're really cool. You can increase their speed and increase damage dealt, like so cool. But I use them as I put them with one hero and I let them travel really fast because they're super fast units. Depends on how fast you travel across the map. So you could wait like 2 hours for my dwarves to travel somewhere, or the Eagles will take 10 minutes. They'll just be there. And I can build a fort, then my people can come to, right? That'll be a little faster, because you can get an increase in speed if you travel from your main base to a fort, or another fort, right? So the Eagles are kind of good to go out, set up the base, you know, come back real fast, that kind of thing. Bjornings are amazing siege monsters. See this siege bonus? They get 600 per unit. Crazy. So Bjornings are extremely powerful. Again, the elves have the Bjornings right next to them too. Another reason why I feel like the elves are positioned in a way that they really don't have much people to fight them. Like, they didn't have much obstacles, and not just that, they're right next to the ring, and they have Eagles and Bjornings right next to on top of their land. So, a little bit of balancing there. I think they could just balance it by making Agmar not a AI, make it real players, so they have that threat behind them, and then maybe adding the other teams to the left of the map, so they can't just expand freely to the left and get free land. They actually have other teams they have to fight. I think it would be a little bit more balanced on the map. Levy. This is how you get gold. I showed you the other thing. They just respawn every so often. My levy's really high, guys, so if you want to know, when you're doing building, I'm going to click on the building button down here in the bottom left. The main quarters of every place, if you look at them, they actually increase the levy amount as well as a production. So you have to have them to upgrade your next buildings to get higher level units down here. You have to have these higher level, but you really should get these all to level 10, these quarters, because they increase a production of some resource, one of your basic resources, and your levy amount. And not just that, so those are the basic resources at the top, right? Not just that, I know I'm talking like crazy, so I'll slow down a little bit. But you go to your ring right in the bottom left here. You can increase this one right here to increase the levy by 30%. So another good little thing to have on your ring there. Let's see, I'm going to put some PowerPoints in here. I'm going to click this button down here in the bottom. Nope, not quite enough for level 126 on my ring, but I'm getting up there. Right now I've been using the XP stuff and the mock battle increases, as well as I keep these to increase how many forts I can have, how many of these can't see them. These fire points right here, this one increases that up there, and then stamina for my heroes, right? I can click on it and show you what they do. Right. All right. And then this is a nice one. Speed increases. Just nice things to have. These also increase your resources, but they're not super. They're good earlier. You need a lot of resources, but later they kind of don't feel very strong. So I think these other ones are better. Let's see. Let's have someone do a mock battle. By the way, it does matter how. how powerful the tile you own is to do a mock battle on. My highest tiles I own are 260, and this one just happens to be right next to my base, which is really nice. So I click on that one, and I mock battle here a lot. So to level people up. I think most of my main leaders are off defending the keep way north, right? But someone I'm trying to get Legolas higher level so he can be another good hero. So I'm going to go ahead and go here, mock battle. Click on Legolas to come do a mock battle here, and then I'm going to use these points down here, and you see all these things down here, so it costs a certain amount of resources. I'm going to increase how many I do here, right? So until I can't, I'm going to do as much as I can, right? So I might be able to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and use all 15 of my points, as you can see right down there. I'm going to use all 15 of my, these are a certain amount that you can just, these spawn every, like you get one every few hours. So really you can only, I can have a max of 20 normally. I have a max of 30 at once holding on to when they're fully all done. But you keep getting one every hour or so, every hour or two. This is the stamina of the hero. I'm going to use all his stamina, but it recharges a lot faster than these points do. And then I have to use money, right? This is how far it'll take to get there. It'll take him 2 minutes to get to this tile. It's really close. And that's the distance. And again, this is the XP I'm going to get for doing it. So I'm going to really level him up. He'll probably get to like level 32 or 33 or something, which is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and send Legolas. He's really good with ranged units. Again, let's look at Legolas real quick. Here's Legolas. There he is. In all his cool Legolasness. Say that 5 times fast. But again, he is very good. If I go to his portrait and then go over here, he's got some really cool things. All allies 15% chance to avoid damage, and at max levels it gives 15 speed to the arm. It's pretty cool. Greenleaf against an enemy, he does really great damage, right? Blows people up. These are all his damage ones, basically, that he does damage himself. Here's his upgrades. Range units damage increased by 3%, and that goes up every time he levels this up. And this one, range units damage received, 2% less. So he might be good to just have all range units in his team. Or maybe one really good tank, like Dol Amroth Knights are the Gondor's best unit, right? And again, the only thing that matters with what people you're playing is that the top unit. For example, if you're dwarves, the Dwarf Erebor faction, you get these special guards, Khazad-dûm guards or something. Where as a Gondor, we get Dol Amroth Knights, and elves get some other unit. There's one special unit you can't have. Otherwise, you can, if you're Gondor, you can play as dwarves, which is basically what I'm doing. I'm all dwarf heroes pretty much and stuff. And again, you can earn all the heroes, right? If you're on the good side. And I already talked about how if you go on the bad side, you might be able to bring them over, we think, and then just weird. And then get bad heroes at later. If you switch to the 3rd season, you can have bad heroes on the good side. I guess it's just because they're like risk pieces, you know? I guess that's the idea behind that. But anyway, let's go back over to stats. I'm going to move over here. We're going to look at these real quick right here. Items, right? So again, like for example, I'm using this item here. So as you can see, it increases elves speed in our army by 2, and the commander's focus by 6. Every 2 rounds, all ally units recover a certain amount of their health. Remember, there's 10 rounds. That happens 5 times in a fight. And then over here, down below me, right here in the picture, we've got the helmets, right? So again, and if you want to, let's say I want to strengthen this helmet. If I want him to keep using this helmet, I'm going to give him a better one later. So I want to strengthen it. I could click this thing down here, and I could use a helmet I'm not using right now, which I'm not using that one. And then I would click this little forge button right here. See this one right here? And then it would increase it to 15 might on the helmet, right? And I can increase it up to 3 times for blue helmets. I believe, let's see, what is a purple helmet? Let's go to one of my strong leaders here. It can go up to 5 times increased, which again, you need the purple helmets. They're harder to get, right? And green is the simplest, right? In fact, I might just start breaking them down, because the only thing, let's see, can I go to my items here? It's a good question. Okay, so if I want to go to my items, I got a little bag down here, item bag. Here they are. So the thing is, these are the best items. I'm not using them right now because usually they're better to be upgraded, but I have some really nice gold items. Those are the most rare. Purple items are second most, and then blue, then that green. I don't probably should change the helmets that they're using, those two people, but we won't worry about that right now. You can only upgrade things with the same color item, if that makes sense. So if I wanted to upgrade my purple thing to tier 5, I need a lot of purple items, right, to upgrade that chest piece to that. But for example, all these extra green ones are kind of useless, so I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to dismantle the green ones, and these are really useless, okay? So, dismantle. So, it'll just let me, I could just select a bunch. So I'm going to select commons, I'm going to dismantle them. It's going to give me this stuff to use, and superior, which are just, the green ones are not that superior, right? I'm going to keep my blue ones right now and do that later myself. So I'm going to go ahead and dismantle that. Dismantle? I'm going to leave this on just in case I ever misclick. Don't want to do something wrong. So anyway, I got a bunch of points there. So how can we use those points? Well, we go down to the, where? I'm trying to remember where I actually go to. We go back to the, commander? Is that where I go? Wait. No, it's in the I think it might be in the math thing. I've seen it before and I can't think of where it is. I think it's the exchange right there. Above, right up here. I think it's the exchange button. Ah, there it is. Okay, see how I have 370 pieces up there now? So this is under the math button that was in the bottom right corner, right? Now I could exchange to get some stuff. These, I believe you get these by taking apart respect items, and then you can like roll for a new one, right? Or you could get rid of a bunch of your little ones and roll for the nicer ones that are for the higher level heroes, that kind of thing. But again, now I could grab another bow. So I could grab a Mirkwood bow if I wanted to, right? This Mirkwood bow and use it as a crafting piece or whatever. But what I think I'll do, and this refreshes every 2 days, as you can see down here at the bottom, I think I'll keep saving up and just get a gold item later, and I can use it as a buff, or maybe it'll refresh in 2 days and it'll be a dwarven gold item, right? Something that's good for dwarves, because this one is good for men, right? Because see how it says the speed of army men units is 9 faster? And again, it doesn't matter your faction, it matters what units you're using, right? So that's why you have to think about that stuff. Wow, we've done a lot in this 50-minute plus video. We've done a lot indeed. Let's see how our defense is going. Alright, so we have lots of... I have 4 heroes in here. I have Dwalin, a 68,000 power. Balin, a 71,000 almost power. Aragon the second, 60,000 power. And then Gimli, 65,000 power, right? So they will all defend, and it will just choose who defends, I think, at random when they attack. Again, my teammates are fighting around the sides, trying to make sure we can keep our forts and retaking things, and basically just slowing them down. We're trying to buy time because a lot of our teammates that took Edoras, we had to dump a ton in to take that capital. So people are rehealing their units, hiring more units, and that takes, 5-6 hours of real time. So, and they are in battle mode, as in if I go to the fellowship button down here, and we go to the wars declared, and if we go to elves, you can see they're at war. So these people are all at war for another 6 hours, 5. So they can keep attacking our forts with no negatives, like as in negative damage. So if those run out, and then they try to attack our keep, they'll get a 70% reduction in attacking the keep's health, which makes it pretty much impossible to take a building or a fort or a keep. So and then there's a cooldown period, which is what we're in. We're in our cooldown period right now after the war we had with Edoras. Again, remember I showed you this cooldown period. Wrong button. This one right here, right? So after 5 hours, we can declare war, which takes like a 6-hour period, kind of warns people, and then we get 24 hours to battle where we have no negatives on fighting forts and stuff. That's kind of how that works back and forth, right? Well, woo! And as you can see here, Legolas, that is the leader of Nerd of the Rings Fellowship Guild. He's awesome. We're friends. He's a cool guy. He's kind of leading that for Nerd of the Rings. Nerd of the Rings is part of their fellowship, but he does a lot of the work because he doesn't always have time to do everything. Neither do I. That's why, like on the other server, I made a thing and it was kind of a lot of extra work. So I just kind of want to play the game with everybody. But again, come join me. We have a friend on here. We can still play if you're on server 55, the Gondor faction, right? As you can see, we're very powerful. Gondor owns a lot. We're just having a little bit of trouble with actually getting to the ring. But, so, yes. And again, with objectives, both us and the elves have 2 capitals. So, we get a 3rd capital, and then we'll finish that objective. But then if we really want to have full objective, we have to get to the ring and take the ring, too. Which I think is possible, and if you guys want to come help us, we'd appreciate it. You can still join in and help us out with things, so just start getting respect for your heroes, even if you're a little late in the season. And then get heroes, and then even if it resets the next season, you can then join us and have your respect on your heroes. So, again, thank you, my friends, for joining me today. Oh, look at this. So I spent those ability points, so I get some free stuff. Again, these refresh every week. See, I got some free gems, got some free speed ups for building and just speed ups. So you do get those. And I did not pay for these. These are free. Everyone can get them. Those are like event things. All right, well, that was fun. Thank you for joining me, my friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, check out my other content on the channel. This is totally an excursion. Totally not what I normally do, but I do enjoy this game. You should come play with us. Server 55, Gondor faction. And I will see you all in the next episode of Voice of the Rings. Thank you again for joining me. You guys are all awesome, and I appreciate it. And I'm your hosting guide, Zollin Ironshield. And again, I would like to say again, everybody on this server is awesome, and I don't like to lump a faction on this server as in they're the bad guys when they're not all like that. It's just a couple of them in World Chat might be again colorful language, as I put. But Gondor is very honorable, and I will say so has the dwarves and Mordor. They've been very honorable players. So, and really the elves have done nothing wrong. They've just maybe manipulated the more excited members of Rohan and Isengard to basically do their bidding. But, it happens. It happens! It happens. Maybe next season we won't happen. The dwarves even said, maybe we'll be a little more intensively attacking the elves from the other side. We'll see. There's still more time in this season. Maybe we'll have some other stuff happen. It'll be exciting. But I'll give you some little updates in the future, and you guys can kind of see what happened, or what happened after the end of the season. If it's sooner rather than later. I don't know when the season's going to end. They don't really tell anyone that. So, again, exciting, fun. I'll have more content coming out for you guys soon. If you watch this whole video, you're awesome. Little subscribe button's going to pop up right there. I want to just quickly thank my Patreon. You're awesome. And if anyone wants to join our Discord, you can also become Patreon down there. And I got free links to other things down there too. It's free to subscribe and like though, my friends. And the next video will be up there for this playlist, and our main playlist, LOTR-playing, will be right over there. Have a great day in Middle-earth, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.